going on YouTube? LoudmouthBassin here. I'm at beautiful Tempe Town Lake, sitting here with a good friend of mine, James. Show me the money, Monies, ugly old goat, almost pro. Any nickname you can think of, James has had it at one point, he says. Alright guys, we're here today, we're going to talk a little bit of technique stuff. I brought the guy that I think is one of the best jerkbait fishermen I know of around in the valley. I know he fishes jerkbaits at least every time he's out, and I know he fishes them very successfully. So, without further ado, I'm going to give James the floor, let him talk to you a little bit about the different types of jerkbaits there are. Welcome, James.
What's going on?
Got to speak up loud now.
What's going on?
It sees you, just got to hear you.
What's up? Well, there's different kinds of jerkbaits that I use. Some are run more shallower than others. Some run deeper. They got deep divers and regular runners, and they got some that are like small bills on that run real shallow, depending on the depth and the depth of water that I'm working with. Because I really don't want that bait digging into the bottom a whole lot, so there's different
So he's talking about the depth, the diving of the jerkbait. So for those of you who don't know, which I think most of you will, grab me a jerkbait, anyone you see down there, or right here. We got tons of them all over the place here. So this is one of James's favorites, to my understanding. It's a Megabass.
Megabass Vision 110.
So this is a Megabass Vision 110. So as you can see here, that is a jerkbait, a long, slender bait with a small bill in the front, 2 or 3 hooks, and the idea is, as you retrieve the bait, you jerk your rod and it'll cause it to twitch. Just simple in the water.
Twitch.
Right, so it looks like a real frantic bait fish. Now there's 3 main classifications of jerkbaits. There's the floater, which when you jerk it, it'll dive down and then float back up pretty slowly. I actually have an example of one of those right here. This is a Rebel floater. Okay, and it actually says on the bill here, Rebel floater. Very few of them are distinguishable by that. It's actually a little bit lighter than the other jerkbaits. Doesn't have any rattles or weights per se in it. It does have a rattle, but it's very light. Okay, so when you twitch this down and you let go and let the retrieve steady, it'll float back up. Okay, another kind is what they call a suspending kind. James has, I think these are, yep, the Lucky Craft flash pointers. Okay, now these are going to suspend. And by that I mean as you jerk it down and stop your retrieve, the bait will hover. It'll just stay right there in that water column, which, you know, sometimes that's really dangerous for that fish, right? It just sits right in their face until they get hungry.
Sometimes, depending on water temperature, it might have just like a slow fall, or maybe it might have a slow rise. Depending, the colder it is, the faster it's going to rise, and then the warmer it is, it's going to sink.
So even water temperature is going to play a part in your jerkbaits. And then the last kind is what they call a deep diving jerkbait, which James has a few of those somewhere here.
Yeah, I got one.
What do you got here? Something called a Stacy?
These are Stacy's.
I don't want to hook you here, so we'll just take this one. This is a Lucky Craft Stacy. Now notice the size of the bill on that bait. That's almost a good inch bill, considering all the other baits we've shown which have a 1/4 inch, if that. This one has a 1-inch bill, which tells you right away it's going to dive. And that's a deep diver right there with about an 1.5 inch bill. It's going to dive a lot deeper. This one here is going to average about 10 to 12 feet depth. Most of your jerkbaits are going to be running between 1 to 5 feet deep. This one here, probably 9 to 10 feet. This one's probably 12 feet, depending on where the bass are in the water column.
No.
And we hooked to James.
And this one runs about 9 feet. Depending on the line, you can dictate the depth with the line thickness also.
So like he's saying, with the line thickness, recommended line, what do you throw your jerkbaits with?
Normally, in normal situations, I want to go with about 10-pound test fluorocarbon. If I want that bait to run a little bit shallower, I'm going to go with 12. And like if I'm trying to run maybe one of these baits that might get down to about 6-7 feet, but the bottom's say 3 feet, 4 feet, I'm going to want to go with either 12 or 15-pound fluorocarbon to try to keep that up higher in the water column so it's not digging in the bottom like a crankbait.
So with jerkbaits, the heavier fluorocarbon, the lower the depth that the jerkbait's going to get to.
So the thinner diameter. There's some fluorocarbons that have thicker diameter than other fluorocarbons, and there's, you know, and vice versa, they have thinner diameter. So when I'm trying to get the bait down, I want to go with the thinnest diameter that I can get away with. I really don't want to go with less than 10. I mean, I can go to 8 if it's really cold and I need to get that bait down and not move it a whole lot. I'm going to want to go with a real thin diameter. There are really good fluorocarbons out there that are super thin diameter, and then there's fluorocarbons that are a little bit thicker diameter. So I want to look at the actual diameter of the line on the package when I'm thinking about jerking.
Right, and you'll notice that in the corner of the line, it'll tell you 12-pound test, and then it'll say DIA, which is diameter, short for diameter, and it'll tell you 0.13 inches, 205 millimeters or something like that, 0.205 millimeters. So it'll tell you the thickness of the line. Now back to the
average diameter.
Back to the jerkbaits. So we discussed the floaters, we discussed the suspenders, and we even got into the deep diving. Now, James, when do you throw a jerkbait?
All the time.
All the time. You guys hear that? A jerkbait is a bait you can throw anytime.
Yeah. Well, I normally like to, if I'm gonna try to cover water, but I think the fish are more, what's that word I'm looking for? Like scared or
suspended.
No, not suspended.
Lockjaw.
Yeah, more like I can't think of the word. More skittish. Say more skittish, where they're not gonna actually chase down like a spinner bait or a swim jig or something that you're keeping constant moving in the water column. You know, it's faster than a soft plastic, but you can work it where you can pause that thing and work it, but you still cover a decent amount of water. That's when I want to throw a jerkbait, other than like throwing a crankbait or something like that, where the bait is constantly moving. So I can stop it, pause it, let it sit there, and stuff like that, and still get a decent amount of water covered. That's usually when I'm throwing a jerkbait. Or if I throw a jerkbait and I'm just getting whacked, I keep on throwing the jerkbait.
So what I'm gathering here is you throw a jerkbait as a finesse search bait.
Right, yeah.
Did you guys hear that? A finesse search bait. So you have search baits, crankbaits, spinner baits, those things that are moving that you're searching to find schools of fish. And then you have those times where you can throw those all day and not get a bite because those schools of fish are just not aggressive. And if you break out a jerkbait, you have a better chance of getting that non-aggressive school of fish to attack your bait. Part of that is because the jerkbait has that pause, that stall.
And then, like I watched a while back, I watched a video where they were showing these shad in like a tank with bass, and it was like when the shad was alive, it was just swimming around, and the bass weren't really messing with it. But then they like kind of, not to be animal cruelty, but whacked the thing so it kind of made it head, so it kind of made it kind of pass out, right? And so it was twitching in the water. And when when they threw it in the tank and it was doing that, the bass were like sucking it in their mouth. But they weren't eating it, they were sucking it in and spitting it back out.
They were getting a little more aggressive.
Which is kind of like what you're trying to imitate with the jerkbait. When you jerk this thing, when you're jerking it, you're getting that thing to go like this, maybe a couple of twitches, and the thing's just sitting there like this, like a dying shad.
So
and then
erratic motion.
So those bass, if they're not really eating like a crankbait or something like that, they might eat this because it's just sitting there kind of like the same pretense. They're not really going to eat it, but they're going to suck it in their mouth. It's kind of like a curiosity thing.
Right.
And then when it's sitting there, and that's pretty much like the same thing that doing with the jerkbait.
So what he's getting at is, with the crankbaits and the reaction bites, you're causing a reaction bite. The bait goes by the fish so fast that the fish has to make a split-second decision to react to it. With the jerkbait, you're giving that erratic twitch, that slow motion pauses, and those things that make it look like an injured bait fish. And that actually brings out a different type of attitude from the fish. It not only does it do the reaction, but it brings out that instinctual nature to attack something injured. Almost like sharks do. When you have an injured fish in the water, sharks come because of blood in the water. Bass feel the vibrations of the injured fish and will come over to investigate, causing them usually to strike at something. So let me ask you this. what would you use to describe the way you work it? Matter of fact, let's have you stand up and throw a few casts with your jerkbait. Give it just a demonstration of your rod technique. Yes, I said that, his rod technique. So he's got on a little deep diving.
Well, I got a Stacy on. This is more of a bluegill pattern, which I don't normally use bluegill. When I'm throwing jerkbaits, I pretty much want to imitate a shad, is what I want to imitate, or like a large minnow. But since it is kind of around the bluegill spawn, I do have this one that I used to catch a bunch of fish on at Apache Lake, and it seemed to work pretty good because of the collection. So, but this is a Stacy. This gets down around 9-10 feet, which we have right here. So
give it a run. Let's show these people the rod action you use.
Just let it sit for a second, and then some people like to crank it, you get it down to its depth, but I just start jerking it, and then when I jerk it, I have slack on the line like this, because I don't, you know, I want that bait to dart side to side like this.
Very erratically. I see. So I'd like to call that almost a long, violent jerk. I've seen
water, when you're working like a top
popper
water, walking the dog, you got a little bit of slack in the line, and you're just doing this, and it makes that bait walk.
Right.
And you're doing the same thing, but down under the water, but you're giving it, you know, more.
So a good violent jerk. You notice he's bringing that pole from almost 4 o'clock all the way down to 6, or almost 3 o'clock all the way down to 6.
If you watch Kevin Van Dam, he points that rod right at that bait, and then
straight down.
And
So he just constantly.
Bait in with his reel, he wants to jerk that bait, so that bait's only moving, say 4 or 5 inches forward, but it's moving
A foot to the right, a foot to the left, right. Hence why they call it a jerk bait. It's not because he's mean.
And then there's also different cadences. So like
now what dictates? Now you said cadence, and cadence, folks, is the rhythm of which he's jerking that rod. Now what dictates the cadence? What's the most important factor in that?
I'm gonna try to say water temperature is gonna do it.
That's what I've heard.
So like the warmer the water is, the faster you can do it. You can the cadence on the bait. So like right now, the water temperature I've been getting lately is about 85 degrees.
Really? Wow.
So,
it's getting up there.
I mean, you can move it pretty fast, but I still like to throw some good pauses in there because of like what I explained.
It just sits in front of their face.
It sits right there, and the fish aren't, they might not be aggressive or in that attack mode. Just out of curiosity, you might want to suck that bait in. And then with all these treble hooks on it, they're going to get caught.
It's hard to let go, yep.
Just out of that, because they might not be in an eating mood.
All right, guys, all this fishing he's doing, it's got me wanting to. So we're going to take a minute here. I'm going to go put the chest harness on, and we're going to go around, and we're going to hopefully get on some fish with these jerk baits. Let's get on some fish. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Is it fish 30? It's fish 30. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, on the jerk bait, right where I said there, always in that corner.
Yeah.
Look at that, full little thing. What's coming out? Messed up spine. Just must have spawned. Post spawner. Pretty fish. Look at the lateral line. Yep, post spawner. You can see the rub marks.
Look at that. I just got him. Just got him on that.
On his mega bass, barely come after and grabbed it after one of the twitches.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus. I knew there was one down here somewhere.
Right in that curve.
Huh?
I'm just getting ready because I didn't know if this color was going to work. I was like, I'm going to go put my white one on. And in that last cast, I was going to walk over there.
Oh, don't do that.
And we hit it. So,
Which way were you running it?
coming this way.
So at this particular lake, one of my strategies is to walk the wall and drag either a crankbait or twitch a jerkbait behind me. Which, like James said, I'm not even using the reel. I'm just twitching that jerkbait. till I feel something hit it. Like it was the biggest bass I've seen in Tempe Town Lake. Oh, got one. There it is, folks. No. Well, it's pulling drag.
Yeah, but you always use drag.
Uh-huh. Little guy. About the same size as yours. Every bit the same size as yours. And I got both hooks in mine. Yeah.
That one's buried.
I know, and I can't grab him because of it. Get that one out of his lip I can, but hang on. Easy, hang on. Look in the mouth of an upside down bass, YouTube. Pull that one back through. Just grab it and pull it towards you. It's not sticking through inside.
Yep. Right in the bone.
Like I said, same size as yours. Nice little fish there, YouTube. Jerkbait fishing. It works for everyone. One last jump for the camera. And I think I got my pants instead of the fish.
Go towards the bottom. Here's one. Catfish. Yeah, buddy. What's up, Enos? You can hear him. Wada, 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 wada. Wada, wada, wada. Catfish hit me like a ton of bricks. Big one. That's a good one. Oh yeah. That's a good one. Catfish. Pulling some drag, boy. Catfish. Or I got a bass. And I foul hook a carp. Foul hook the bass. Decent. Now 3-pounder.
Yeah, that's the one I saw sitting here yesterday.
That's only a 3-pounder.
That's still a good fish. When the water hooks a little bigger.
Careful. That's only about a 3. I got him. Maybe.
Yeah, we're throwing jerkbaits, so it's drifting by, and he went after him.
He probably swiped at it. I knew that laydown was going to produce.
Which lay down was going to produce?
The lay down right here.
The tool he's sitting there?
No. Yep. Felt like I hit a rock. There we go. Yeah, you got your skill? He's got a little 328.
Would have been big fish in the tournament. Told you.
That's a good one too. Another good one. Flathead.
Ladies and gentlemen, jerkbaits do catch catfish too.
Look at that.
That's the third catfish in a week I've seen caught on a jerkbait. Dave got 2 of them tonight.
Look at that guy. Give it a kiss.
Is it a throwback rule or are you keeping it?
I just throw him back.
That's bait. Put it on the hook. There you go, hang on.
Put this on the urban legend.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a jerkbait, he caught a flathead. It's a flathead. Flathead.
Nice.
Good?
Yep. I made a video.
There, ladies and gentlemen, that is jerkbait fishing. That was a good one.